Chapter 4, Part 1, Video Part 1. There's two PowerPoints. You see this one says Part 1, and the other one's Part 2, and then the videos, I'm going to chop up those different PowerPoints. Okay, deriving meaning. Chapter 2, we got into elements and principles. 3, we got into media. 4 is deriving meaning. This is going to be the end of Part 1. Part 2 is going to get into more specifics. Okay, so we want to understand the message in a particular piece of work. This is a Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist piece, and this is Durga fighting the demons. Now, in Buddhism, the demons are interior demons, not exterior demons. And the fire does not indicate hell, because there's no hell in Buddhism. So we want to really make sure we're using the context of the actual work, historical, cultural, religious, at the work of the time. Often I have students write about this piece, and they write about it in the Christian context. There is no Christian context for this piece. There is no Christianity in this area of the world. Okay? So just remember that you want to take yourself out of what you know and try to put yourself into these different cultures and what their context is. The Capitol building is here, and this is an historical piece, 1793, but its style and design is reflecting the Greco-Roman Empire, more typically classical Greece, which is almost 2,000 years earlier. So it's trying to show that they appreciate the same values that Greece did. With the Senate, the Greeks had a Senate, the Romans also had a Senate, and we have a Senate and a Congress. That's a little bit different, but at any rate, it's to show that it's reflecting those democratic values, the values of the people. Okay, so how do they have meaning? What is the message? So you just learned a message that had to do with what the meaning of this building is. But also, there's formal analysis, content analysis, which just gave you a little bit of that. Historical context, I gave you a little bit of that. So the formal analysis is that it is more horizontal, it is flatter than it is tall. It has more horizontal area, right? It might be taller, it might be pretty tall, but the important thing is you're seeing a wider building than it is tall, so that would be your line quality, right? Your horizontal line versus your vertical line. It's symmetrical, right? Balanced. That's also that's formal, but it's going into the content. You're trying to show a balanced, even-keeled structure, right? It's very sedate. So we also get into physical surroundings and methods of encounter. A lot of times artworks are taken out of the context they're in. Like, for instance, an artwork is moved, an artifact or like a pottery bowl or something like that is put into a gallery and it's no longer used. It's no longer in somebody's kitchen shelf. So that is how a physical surrounding may change. And then writings about art, and we'll get into feminism and formalism, which is basically formal analysis and some other styles of writing. Okay, so our formal analysis here, we're going to study the element principles, and you've already done this a little bit, and you will do this in Chapter 4 homework discussion, and you will also do this moving forward repeatedly. So this is your Chapter 2 information is really the building blocks for how you write about a lot of the work in this course, okay? And it's also when you go into a gallery or a museum, that's how you discuss the work. You'll say, it's predominantly blue or what have you. Now in this case, try to remember, and this is kind of tricky, this is a photograph of a building. So if we were to talk about this, there is no blue, there's no discussion of sky, there's not really discussion of lawn either. We are talking about the actual building. And students make this mistake once in a while because everything you're looking in this book is a photo of an artwork, and it's all flattened and it doesn't have the same look to it. But just recall that there's no blue in this picture in terms of the building. So we're going to think about the elements and principles. Again, we talked about that a little bit. It's monochromatic. That might be another one. There's one color. The composition of the building, right? And everything about this building is carefully considered and arranged, and that's what the symmetry is about. That's what the monochromatic coloring is about, and the call to the Roman order and the Greek order, and the idea of, this is getting smaller, going up to the dome. The windows get continually smaller, all kinds of details. So it makes it clear that it's an important building, partly because of the Greek architecture, but also because of the size of it and the clean lines of it, and I would say, again, with one color and the dome. A dome tends to indicate importance, either like a religious building or a governmental building. Okay, formal analysis. Now this is going to be in your homework. So you're going to talk about this particular piece, the Tlaloc vessel, and from the Aztec, circa 1440, 1469. This is clay and pigment. So our formal analysis is going to talk about, let me speed ahead for a second. Okay, so it's going to talk about the things that you're seeing and a little bit of the meaning that can be derived from it. Okay, so we're looking at this particular piece. If we put a line down it this way, we're going to see that it is symmetrical and even, right? The eyes would probably be our focal point, and there's a contrast here. There's a dark hole there, and circles are, drawing us in to this, the eye area, and eyes are always something that pull us in, okay? So it's frontal. Again, it's symmetrical. It's cut down the half, cut down the middle, and it'll be equal on either side. And frontal means that all the information is toward the front, and that usually has to do with a sculptural piece. Some pieces are not frontal. I don't have a good comparison for you for that right now, but just know that this is faced toward us and this is frontal. Okay? It has a red band right here. That is a color. So that's one of our elements is color. So it has a red band here. When I'm saying red band, there's also another element right here, which would be either line, or you could say there's a horizontal area or shape, that is horizontal there. You have a bunch of vertical, almost triangular, trapezoidal shapes right there that repeat. Repetition. There would be a principle right there. You have a lot of repetition in similar kind of rounded shapes that are semi-geometric. Okay, there's a mouth and eyes, and then eyebrows, and then these what we call lugs, but they're handles. Okay, what is the overall color? Like if you're looking at this, what strikes you the most? Is it the color, the shape? You want to think about those things. What's the most important thing that you see, right? That would be the predominant element of this piece. And in this piece, there's a lot of things competing, so there could be a few different answers. One would be the predominant turquoise color. And what kind of a color is turquoise? Is it warm or cool? I want you to think about that.